Hello and welcome to Meet Your Inspiration podcast with Meri and Rich. Here we're talking about inspiration, motivation and empowerment. Our guests are ordinary people who became extraordinary, and with sharing their stories, we want to empower you to become the person you want to be, to go beyond your dreams.
Today our guest is Matthew Bridger. This is the second time Matthew would come back. So thank you very much for coming back to talk to us.
Thank you.
Obviously there's a bit of progress since we last spoke to you last year.
Just a little bit.
So,
and just to let you know, your episode overtook our channel.
Amazing.
You hit 10K.
Wow.
And I'm not surprised because from the moment we met, I can't stop talking about you. All your successes for the age that you are. It's just, I still can't get my head around when did you manage to do all that. And people were talking very, very nicely about what they heard as well. So we decided be really cool, especially how many exciting news are around you at the moment. So where to start with the latest, biggest news? Do you want to share with us?
Well, we were just talking about it just now. I'm now the mayor, which is, it's weird to say, and it was weird to be introduced last night as Mayor Bridger, or as someone decided to use the full title the other day, the Worshipful Town Mayor of Kennington, which I was like, I think Mayor Bridger or Mr. Mayor will do, or just Matthew, because Worshipful Town Mayor was a bit pompous. I was like, I don't need all that. So I'm now the Mayor of Kennington, first Mayor ever in Kennington. It's never happened before, and there'll be people in Kennington. It's not London, it's Ashford in Kent, and there's people that will look at it and think, but Kennington's not a town. So how has that happened?
Because it's like part of Ashford.
Yes, it's part of the Ashford, and Ashford is the town. But under the Local Government Act, any parish council can style themselves as either a town council, a parish council, or a community council. Okay. So you're still the parish. So we are still the parish of Kennington. We're not a town, and it will never be a town. It will always be the parish of Kennington, the village, as part of the Ashford town. But as a council authority, we're allowed to style ourselves as a town council, parish council, or community council. We were a community council, but what we found with that is a lot of people didn't know what a community council was, and a lot of external authority organisations like Kent County Council and Ashford Borough Council didn't take any real knowledge to who we were or what we did. It was very much you're the lowest pecking order because it was community council. So for trying to get things done for local residents, we wanted to try and do more. So I put a motion forward in March, and then it was brought forward into the April's meeting and voted on, and that was to become a town council. So our councillors voted on it. We decided to change our name to Kennington Town Council. As chairman of the council, my title changes to mayor.
Amazing. Very good.
Yeah.
That's a really cool story. But obviously that brings a lot of benefits as well to the area, I guess.
It does, yeah. So for us, previously we can go for funding that was predominantly for town councils. Now we can. So there was a pot recently, Pride in Places. That's up to £3 million. And if you were successful for that, that's a lot of money for your area. Now, we couldn't have gone for that because we run a town council. Now we can go for those types of funding, which if we can get those into Kennington, that would do a lot of really good work for our residents. And that's things like street cleaning, signage, getting things, verges cleared, new things put in. I want to put in a village sign. I want to have a beacon created and put that into Kennington as well. So there's loads of different things that myself and our other councillors are always proposing, but obviously it comes down to funding, and if we can go out for more funding, then that's even great for us. So there's all those benefits of funding, but also for planning applications. So we have the right to give our views as a council on planning matters. So we're always listening to residents and what they want regarding planning. And when we then send in objections or give our feedback on planning matters, being a town council carries a lot more weight.
Incredible. Wow. Just to get the people as well back to your story in case someone missed that episode. As far as I remember, 16 years old, you were going networking instead. Very early stage you start business, and from very early stage you were part of the community.
Yes.
And very early stage, and 10 years later he became the mayor of the area. But looks like, your passion for what you were doing since then and being part of all this community work and how much you give to the community back is opening new doors for you now to do much more.
I'd like to hope so. I mean, for me, it's all about public service to the community. If I grow even more in terms of the ranks that you can go up within the local council authorities, or even going on to county council, or even becoming an MP, great. But for me, even if I don't go further up the ranks than what I currently am, as long as I'm giving back to the community, that's the main thing. And it was, in fact, I hosted a dinner last night for the Conservative Party, and we were talking about it on our table that for people that want to get involved into politics, you've got to have a reason. Everyone's got a different reason why they want to get involved, and the main reason should be to deliver for the community and have that public service.
Exactly. This should be the drive too. I want to ask you a question, which is a bit, will be between the two episodes maybe, but do you remember the exact moment when you realized that something is different with you and you're going to do different, you're going to deliver things for the people. You're not just this, you are extraordinary, man.
I don't think it's one of those where I've sat and gone, I'm different. I think for me, it's always been there. I think other people would probably say, that's different. And a lot of people never knew that I was even going to politics or going into business. A lot of people found out when it was the front page of a newspaper and things like that. I think it's always been there. I've always been trying to do charitable work and different things like that. And even in the school, doing things like the Young Chamber with Kennington Chamber of Commerce and student councils and things like that. So I think it's always been there. I think it's just as time's gone on, it's grown and grown and grown. And I've been privileged to have so many great opportunities that I've been able to do a lot more to benefit the community.
And is it something for yourself that you feel, how is the right word, satisfied, accomplished, that you are doing that? Because, we're meeting lots of people, and we had a conversation with Richard the other day. Sometimes you meet people or networking events or somewhere, and you can see that clearly the idea is business. They believe that you go there, and if I can't get the business and I can't do money here, I don't need to be here. Our vision about that is totally different. It's about you go, you build connections, you build your network, and you can help each other. It's not about you always, it's about the other people. I can see you are absolutely like that. But obviously it's a different mindset. How always did you have that example by someone, or it was just something internally inside you that you had it, that you want to do for others?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything. I think it's internal as well. I think you've got to have that sort of internal belief to go out and do good for others. But I also think it's people around you and the community you have around you. So my father was very involved and was always trying to get me involved in business, and was always very passionate about, when I had an idea and I sort of asked him ideas, he would say, think about this and what could you do with this, and let's sit down and have a talk about it. So he's always helped sort of drive it. But no, I think it's all about your environment as well. The people you have around you will sort of decide your future as well. If you have a load of people around you that are all into drugs, most likely you're going to also go down that path as well.
Yeah, the influence of what's around you.
So I think certainly for young people nowadays, look at your friendship groups and have a look at, do you think you want to go down the same path as these guys in 10 years' time? If the answer is no, go and find a new set of friendship groups.
And for sure, it's much more rewarding, isn't it? Personally, it's much more rewarding if you can do something and leave a positive impact and everything. And I guess around the area in Kennington, I'm sure that the impact will become clear over the next few months, particularly with the things you're able to achieve.
And we are already seeing it as well. We're looking for end of May to do a week of action where each day we're going to a different part of the parish, and it will be a full day where we're asking the community to come out and work with us, and that is to go on litter picks with our team, to go out and take pictures of signage that's broken, potholes, things like that, and get those reported to Kent County Council and to the relevant authorities to say, these are the issues that we've got. Let's go and get these sorted, and let's have some pride in our place, in where we live. So, you know, people moan about there's always rubbish. Well, come out with us on one of these days and come and help pick up the rubbish in your community. We all have a part to play. You know, unfortunately, funding streams are stretched, and council budgets are stretched. Councils try to do their best with the budget they've got, but we need the help of residents as well to also play their part in keeping their local area clean and well.
One of the things that you were at the end of the interview last time, you told us you were going out to London to do a half marathon.
Yes,
which obviously is quite a thing as well. Yeah, it's a challenge because like obviously, I mean, none of us are runners. So.
No, boy. And everyone assumed it was a joke. You know, I'd mentioned it to people online and to friends and family, and every single person I met went, "No, you're not going to do that. You that's just a joke, isn't it?" And the members club I'm a member at, they all in there went, "You do a half marathon, really?" You know, you sort of look at me, and yeah, even I was like, "Am I actually going to be able to do this?" I didn't really actually train for it at all, to be honest. I did some sort of a few weeks prior, but prior to that, no. And in fact, I was in the pub the night before having a pint before, and then went and did it. And yeah, so half marathon in London for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital, raised just over, I think, £300. So for a great cause as well. But yeah, got there on the day, did the first half, which was great, and that was really easy. And then obviously stopped for a break. Second half was a bit where it really killed. So got up to eventually towards Westminster, and at that point my foot and my ankles and my thighs were really starting to hurt. And there was a point then when I was like, do I drop out now? You know, the tube was literally opposite me. I was on the bench, and I took a 15-minute break, and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going. So I got back up, got all the way up to Vauxhall Bridge, and I had to take a break there because it was really, really, really painful at this point. It was like, this is killing me now. And I thought, let me just have a look on Google Maps, see where I am. I was 10 minutes away from the Oval. So I went, no, I'm going for it, headphones on, a bit of rocky music. I just went for it and got to the finish line, and eventually sat down. I had to sit down for a good 45 minutes. But yeah, I was just sat there going, well, I've done it. That's the main thing. I was glad I got to the end.
But that's the thing, is determination, isn't it? Sometimes that's what it takes in life. Determination, putting every effort in and making it happen. And you were doing it.
And again, driven by something to do something really good for... because the cause is absolutely
Well, this is the thing. When something's hard, and it's like in business as well, you know, and life in general, you're going to end up facing barriers, but you've got to find a way to push through them. And I think the marathon really, really showed that you'll hit barriers, and you've just got to keep going, and push through them, and then you'll be rewarded at the end.
And how did you choose marathon? Why you didn't choose walking or I don't know, something if that is a bit more maybe easy? Because marathon for me sounds, especially as you were mentioning that you're obviously like me, not trained. Like tomorrow, if I need to go for a marathon, I'm not sure how it's gonna go.
I've done one of those like 5K ones, you know, the Cancer Research Race for Life 5Ks, which they're easy because they're not too bad. But I've always said I would love to do like a half marathon or even a marathon at some point. So I thought, I almost, when I went to book, I thought, oh, do I book for a full marathon or do I do the half? And I went, no, it's my first time. I'll do the half marathon. I want to test myself. I want to show to people that I can do it. But I also wanted to do it to be able to push myself. And so I know that I can actually do it. And I think for me, it really showed me that you can push through the barriers that you get. You know, that was a real challenge to get to the end, but you keep going, and you get to the end, and you get rewarded with it.
No, you do.
You said something about to prove the others as well. Did you feel that lots of people didn't believe you're going to do it?
Probably everyone that I spoke to said, yeah, you won't do that.
But you mean that you're not going to go with that? You're not capable to do half marathon? How did you feel?
They assumed that I was either fibbing and that this was just a joke that I was making up. And then a few people said, don't worry, I'll have the coffin ready at the end of the finish line for you. So,
Okay.
So, but then I came in the next, well, it was a few days later because I couldn't actually get out of bed for a couple of days. And I went, done it, see, told you. And they went, oh, here you have. And
How did you feel when you proved them that?
It was really good. It was a good feeling.
Is that as well part of you was driven by, I'm going to show you. I might be tired, but this is as well played a bit of game that too.
I think that certainly helped when I got to those 2 points where I was, deciding, do I bail now? Do I just say, call it a day? Or do I keep going? I think for me, having that in the back of the mind was great because it meant I want to get to the end to then prove them wrong. So I just kept going and kept going and going. And certainly having music on as well really does help because it takes your mind away as well.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
But yeah, certainly when I got to the end of the finish line and I sat down, I was like, I've done it. I had that really good sensation, and then it was just like, now I've got to get home.
Oh, the next challenge.
And I'm thinking, I can't walk down the road to get onto the tube because I couldn't even walk too far. So it's like, well, I'm going to have to get an Uber to the station and then get on the train. But yeah, the moment I got home, that was it. I was gone. And it took me a few days before I was sort of back up. But then it took me about a week before I was actually back to normal because my foot was gone, my thighs were gone. And I now, looking back at some old pictures, the shoes I wore were 7 years old. And having a look at them, I was like, oh, actually, yeah, they are quite bad. So now I've had to get new insoles.
So here it is. You've got lessons learned as well from this experience.
Next time, get a new pair of shoes.
Is it going to be next time? How are you thinking about
So someone has asked if I do a marathon. Now I've done the half, will I do it again and do it double? Next year, I think. I won't do it this year.
When you look back, do you think you needed to make big sacrifices for the life or the career you had, and what is the biggest that you think you did?
I think it's relationships with people. Business is and politics. It's a lonely world to be in. It's a lot of late nights, stressful days, evenings where you're pulling your hair out trying to make sure that the business is financially successful, that you're delivering for clients, and you're doing what you should be doing. So there's a lot of obviously stress on that, and then obviously politics as well is a game. I always say to people that if you're going to go into politics, be prepared for what you are most likely going to experience. I end up with death threats most months. I've got panic buttons on my phone. Where I live, I've had to have it put on now that if the police are ever called to my house, my house is a marker, so I get a quicker response. And I have to take a lot more safety precautions now as well. These are things that most people never know that you have to go through.
No.
So
usually people see only the not luxurious, but that shiny side of the story.
Yeah. They see what gets posted on social media, and that's a different story to what goes on behind. It's a lot of long nights and the stress and things like that. But the result is great. But what comes with that is the relationships that you have with people that sometimes you can't trust certain people that you think that you can trust. You have a lot of people that want to be near you because of the roles that you've got. And then it turns out actually they're not trustworthy and you shouldn't have been talking to them in the first place. So, that's a friendship gone.
Obviously, if you're saying these words, I assume you experienced that.
Yeah.
And because as much as I've seen you, you're a very good heart man, and I can see that you're always open to the people, but maybe that as well teach you during the time that you have to be kind of careful because...
Yeah, you got to be on your... I always... My guard's up a little bit at times. I always try and see the best in people. But unfortunately, it's one of those where I have had a few people that no longer in my life anymore, and I've had to distance myself from them and cut them off because it turned out actually they wanted something else. They just wanted to be.
It wasn't because of Matthew. It was because of what you can do for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You
got to have an inner belief, haven't you? At the end of the day, you've got a passion for what you're trying to do. You're trying to help the people around you, and when you help one person, somebody else might see it as like, well, hold on a minute, this is always the way we've always had it. Like, why do you want to change it? Because people fear change as well.
They
don't
do, yeah.
And that makes it difficult. I'm sure it does.
It does. And then from that as well, relationships with, I was chatting to someone potentially for a date, and that then stops as well because you're so busy trying to do everything else that trying to then put more time into developing a relationship with someone, that can't happen either.
I think it's going to be difficult to find, when I say difficult, to find a person nowadays that would understand exactly what you do, because you have to be on the same mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise...
and they've got to be understanding that, it's going to be long hours, and there's going to be times when you're not going to be around, and especially when it comes to politics as well, the amount of scrutiny that you get, but also the other half of that person that's in politics, scrutiny they get as well. I mean, we were talking about it last night at the dinner. I had a number of former MPs on my table, and one of them brought his wife, and they were talking about how previously they'd go for a selection to be a parliamentary candidate, and the people there would want to speak to the wife and ask the wife's question and say, well, are you going to be here answering the phone in the office, and making sure that are you in the constituency whilst he's in London, and things like that. And
this is not necessary,
because it's the MPs doing the MP job, and the wife has her own life and her own career. It's not necessary. It's not unless you're the Prime Minister's wife, I guess. Or, that's slightly different.
But
unfortunately, even does she need to answer calls or whatever?
No.
She's just the Prime Minister's wife.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately, people in politics see, if you're married to someone or you're in a relationship with someone, then you're open to scrutiny as well, and it shouldn't be that case. But, scrutiny to a certain degree, but if they want a private life, then they should be allowed a private life. It's if I'm in a relationship with someone, I'd like to hope that they could live their life that they want to live, and if they choose to want to be in the public eye, that's fine. But they shouldn't be brought into the public eye because of the fact that I've got a following and that I'm then also getting into politics.
And if someone is listening now and is thinking, let's say it's a business or politics, I don't know, or young person who, because we met few young people who want to get in PR, in politics and etc. What would be the advice that you would give them in terms of that, to be careful with the people and to know that not everybody will be always very kind?
I think a lot of people will be there to support you, but just be careful that in politics there's a lot of people with different motives because they all want something. So make sure to work with them, work with other people, build up your network within politics. I always say to people, especially those who want to come into the Conservative Party, get involved with the young groups that you've got within each party. On Monday, I was very glad we had an AGM for our young Conservative group for Ashford, and I was great to welcome our newest chairman for the Ashford Young Conservatives, William, who's only 17. But that group set up predominantly for young people who want to come into the Conservative Party, and it's there to represent their views in politics, and it's there really to be the group for young people. And if you're over a certain age, you can't then go into that group. So it's there to try and help them get into politics, build their skills within the party as well, and help them grow. So I always say to people, if you look at all the different parties, and then also speak to their youth groups as well, because they'll have such a good network that they can assist as well.
Do you think more, particularly because of all the things happening in the world, do you think more young people are politically aware that they want to then get involved and learn a little bit more about the impacts and what they can do?
I think so. I think it's a real mix though. I think we are certainly seeing I think it's Z or Z now. Which it's my generation, Gen X. That's the generation that is becoming more political and more religious. I think the newer generation probably isn't. But we are seeing sort of those from 16 plus now are starting to get more involved in politics, especially with what's going on nationally. People obviously want to have an opinion in their future. And you go over to America, certainly the American politics, young people there really get involved in politics because I went over last December, and I've been over December before, and we saw it last year with Charlie Kirk was shot. And I went over for the event, Turning Point USA's America Fest, and it was packed. There was hundreds of thousands of people there. But one thing, when you looked around the room, the amount of young people, because young people want to get involved and they want to have a say on their future now.
And they will. Do you think someone is listening, and how much their voice is heard?
Yeah, I think you need to speak out to be able to have your voice heard. Make sure you vote. Be registered to vote. Do vote, because if you're not voting, you haven't given your democratic right to say who you want to lead the country. So if you don't vote, you technically haven't got a reason to complain if something happens with this government. Get involved. Reach out to the parties locally. Look at the manifestos. Don't go, oh, that's the Green Party, I'll go with them because it's the environment, which quite a lot of young people now seem to like. Look at all the manifestos and then go for the party that the manifesto you believe in, and actually do your research first before you commit to a party. That's how I got involved in politics. I looked at all the parties' manifestos and went, the Conservatives is where my beliefs lie, I'll join the Conservatives.
Escape to luxury at Hempstead House Hotel and Spa, an elegant country house hotel in Bapchild, near Sittingbourne, Kent. Relax with indulgent spa treatments. Dine in style with exquisite cuisine. Perfect for getaways, weddings and events. Experience luxury in the heart of Kent. Book your stay today.
Be the first to discover Kent's best events all in one free app. What's On in Kent is a new and rapidly growing app where you can find days out information, places to eat, festivals, concerts, markets, and much more around you. Just with few clicks on your phone or computer, you can stay updated with real-time info and explore events across Kent. Don't even think twice. Just download. It's free.
So it's a really interesting sort of area, isn't it? Because some people look at the social side of things. Some people are looking at it from a business point of view. Some people, and everyone's got a different idea what they think, and it becomes very polarized in different areas. But generally, what tends to happen is the country tends to sit well when it's in its best financial position and when it's being managed financially in a really good way, because then everything becomes more equal and everyone's got more of an opportunity to sort of grow. And business, for sure, because at the end of the day, everyone leaves school, they want a job. So the business side of things and the business opportunities and the fact that we can make things and produce things and provide amazing services and lead in innovation and all these things, those are the things that actually drive an amazing economy that makes a country successful.
But we're only going to have that if we have the government actually providing the resources for businesses to be able to get on and do their job. We need to cut taxes for businesses. We need to cut red tape. There's too much red tape that stops businesses from being able to expand and do the jobs that they need to do. Taxes have gone up. Energy costs are going through the roof. We're seeing more and more businesses now starting to fail because of all these issues. But also, one of the things I say to business people as well, and I'm very keen to try and promote it everywhere I can, is look at apprenticeships and T-levels, because that's a really good route to take on someone who's young, who wants to get involved into your business. You obviously get paid, you get a grant and things like that, but it's a great opportunity to mould a young person in the way that you want, instead of having someone that comes straight out of university who a lot of times, and this is what's quoted to me by a director of a company the other day, they had someone come for an interview that come from university and they thought that they knew it all because that's what they've been taught. Whereas they can take an apprentice, they can mould that person in the way that they want for their business. So I always say to business people, look at apprenticeship, look at T-levels as much as you can, because there's great opportunities there for your business, in terms of the funding. You've got the apprenticeship levy and things like that. So, yeah.
We saw some great examples of that at the Skills 26 event a few weeks ago, organised by the Chamber of Commerce. And that there was various young people who had done exactly that, and they'd taken apprenticeships and they'd seen their opportunity, and they'd actually nurtured and were flying in the different businesses that they were working in. So it's that you can see when it happens, and it happens well. It's really good.
Well, I was talking about T-levels the other day. I had Tibbs from TBD and Creative on my podcast the other day, and he's taken someone on for T-levels, and he said it's amazing because they have them a couple of days a week. They're obviously then at college. For them, it's a great opportunity for them to get the skills that you need in a business to put on your CV.
Yeah.
But it's much better when you experience. Recently, we had as well, not long ago, we had a guest, which was our international CEO, but his journey was exactly from apprenticeships, how he get into work engineering, and he built, and nowadays he's the CEO of the company, but he still appreciate what did bring him, and he's following that path as well, because as he liked to say, hands-on on it's much beneficial rather than just a paper that you don't know people how much they know.
Yeah, and with that sort of obviously like communication is obviously so important, and his understanding, and it's a great example for many businesses, the understanding of how each job within the business needs to happen. And he said, well, I can do every single job in the business, like made sure that he understood each part, and that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's a really interesting thing as well for business and manufacturing. I think at the moment, I was talking to one of my colleagues who looks after the Irish market, and in Ireland they're having a boom time at the moment. So that they're sort of like, there's so many big projects and so many big businesses moving into Ireland. And one of the reasons you mentioned a minute ago about like reducing taxes, and everyone goes, oh, why would you reduce tax? We need to tax higher big business so we can make sure. But actually the real understanding is that if taxes are low, then businesses move, it creates work, that creates wealth for a whole area, and actually that country will grow and continue to thrive. And that's such an important thing because it makes a big difference to everybody.
Well, we're seeing it at the moment, taxes have gone up in the UK, businesses are leaving. If you tax them too much, there's no point for them to stay in the UK. They will move, and there's other countries where it's much cheaper, obviously Ireland and America, things like that. I mean, for me, my business, a lot of the stuff that we do is online, our web hosting and things like that. Our printing and our event side of the business would obviously stay in the UK. But actually, it's cheaper for me if I was to move it tomorrow. I could move it to America and save a load of money on taxes, and also get the credit line. I looked at it recently when I was there and had a chat. I could move it over there, get £50,000 like credit that day, and save taxes. I don't want to do that because I want to stay here in the UK and I want to obviously pay the tax because this is my home, and it will be staying here in the UK. I'm not planning to move it to the US, so it is staying here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of businesses that will be sat there thinking now, do I stay in the UK or do I not? Because there are those opportunities where they can just pick up, and especially if they're online businesses, pick up and move tomorrow.
It's very interesting times, and it's I don't know, I always been interest like to share your opinion and to know, and it's really good to hear now and to know that obviously these are the roots, and it's because everybody can talk on social media nowadays, isn't it? They grab the phone and they say something, but it's not only to talk, it's the action to do so. I really like that you share that anyone can go and find in which party their ideas and beliefs, and then they can try to make a change as much as you can. I want to ask you, I'm sure there were moments when you need to take some decisions or you need to lead a team, but your confidence is a bit not right there. What do you do in moments like that?
So I've led teams and in different industries, actually. When I ran the pub, and then I've worked in the insurance industry as a manager for a bit, running their marketing department. I came in temporarily to get them sorted and try and help them out. It's one of those where I think for you as a leader, you need to be able to show that you can lead. You might be having some days where it's you've got a load of stuff going on outside of work, and there's other things going on in your mind. You've got to park that at the moment that you go in, because at the end of the day, you're there to be leading that team, and they need to be able to see strong leadership. You've got to be there for your team. Make sure, go around and ask them, how are you, things like that. And just be there for them. And there'll be decisions where, for me, I always like to say to the team, you come up with the ideas, pitch the ideas, and let's discuss the ideas. And a lot of times, they're really good ideas. And I want them to then lead on it. they can come to me for advice and guidance, and I'll say, oh, actually, let's change this, things like that. But at the end of the day, we need to be inspiring the next generation and the next future leaders to also be growing as well. So we need to give them the tools and the opportunities to be able to do that.
Are you then from the leaders that got the guard a bit down, and they will, I mean, when I say guard down, is they don't stay away from the team and always try to show that I'm here, you are there. You're a bit from the leader who want to be like,
you need to be in the middle. You
with
need to be
them
with them
together and to make them feel, of course, I assume you're still going to have some boundaries, but you want to let them know that you are there for them. Is that type of leadership for you is better?
And that's what it should be. It should be in that middle bit where you're all working together. There's no, there's no I in the team. You're not there pulling them. You've got to work with them and help them, guide them and help assist them. There's going to be times when it is a struggle for them. So be there on call to help, and let them lead the projects that they want to lead. Give them the resources and the tools that need to do, and they'll be able to do the job. And that's the thing. That's how we get great leaders is allowing them to be able to do what they need to do. And then when they are having a tough time, or there are going to be times when you're going to have to be the manager that says, "Hold on, that's we need to stop that."
Yeah.
But be there to assist them in their ideas and help them grow from there.
Things that it helps them understand as well, doesn't it? When you then explain and say, "Well, actually, we need to do that because of this and this." And if that bit doesn't work to that bit, then it doesn't mould particularly. So it's bringing it together, isn't it?
Have you ever been like, I wouldn't scare, but not happy if someone you can see that got really good leadership skills? And have you been like, felt, oh, what about if they become better than me? What was your process of thinking about that?
I hope they do.
Yeah.
There was, I went to a chamber event 11 years ago now, 2015, and there was a speaker there, Kevin Gaskell, and he had a saying, "It's not what, it's who," and it's all about that. Everyone, when you go into a business, you never find someone who doesn't want to do a good job for the business. So inspire the next leaders, and they will probably overtake you. Great, because then there's all these ideas and all these leaders coming in, which will help grow the business even more.
Because I believe this is the right thing. We had great people here sitting, sharing the same. But in the meantime, we've heard stories of lots of people who will not give these opportunities, or they will not be feeling exactly that they want to have that. That's why I ask you the different types maybe from leadership, because some people just want to always be clearly showing, I'm here, you are there, and you need to know your place. But me and Richard, we are definitely supporting this type of leadership, because at the end of the day, it's much better the people coming after you to be better than you, even to inspire yourself. Doesn't matter you are manager or leader.
Without a great team that is on the same journey as you and is working for the same mission, you haven't got a business. The business won't be successful or continue to grow if your team is angry and upset with you as a leader. You've got to be there to help them and help them grow, and that's the only way that you'll grow your business.
So how is going on the international trips and all that side of your event business? Have you got time for that now? Because obviously I assume now until now I didn't know at all how you manage your workload. Now absolutely I don't have any clue how you do it.
My workload is certainly getting busier, especially now being mayor. There's obviously other bits that will come with it, like going out to see businesses and things like that. That hasn't yet started, but we'll do probably for the summer. One of the things that we're looking to do as mayor is there'll be the chains, but they're £5,000 to make. They're not cheap. They're silver. So we're looking for businesses to sponsor it, and they have their business name engraved on the back for a minimum of £1,000 per business, or they can sponsor the whole lot. And for that, they get their business name or a name engraved on the back of the medallion for life, social media and things like that. So far, I've raised £1,500. Got another 4,000 to go. So hopefully we'll get that soon. So any businesses out there that potentially might want to sponsor, and it's a great opportunity for them, please do, because we don't want it to be a cost on the taxpayer. So that will take up some of my time soon. And then obviously with the business, I'm constantly working, which is why I only sleep 4 hours a night. I was straight at the event last night, slept up straight here, and I'll be off doing other bits this afternoon as well, and doing work, and I'm working tomorrow as well.
But you need to take break, Matt, sometimes.
I do have some breaks.
Okay, because you need to, yeah.
I do have a couple of days off at times. But that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. There are times when you could be going 7 days a week, every week for a good few months, because you've got to be driving the business. And I'm glad I've got people around me that are helping.
So that's the thing. You've got
because last night's event, you organised that. I mean, that's obviously something you organised.
That. So I've got people around me that are obviously assisting on certain bits. I've still got to be in the fold to try and help on bits as well. The printing side of the business is great. That does its own thing. The marketing side as well is adapting. The event stuff, there's obviously a few of us now, so that's great. But I need to still be on hand. But I'm still doing the international trips because I've got to be the one to go and look at all the venues and make these contacts.
This is the thing that on some of the things like your mayor job or some of this, to find the contacts and to deal with them, you need to be yourself. You can't send someone else.
I will be. I am away actually next month. I'm off to Croatia for a few days to have a look at a venue, and Somerset as well. But Somerset is me as the mayor. Croatia is the business, and then I'm back for a bit, and then I've got a few more trips as well.
Incredible.
And I've booked to go to America again in December for another trip.
This is your time. Yeah, you're doing that every year.
Yeah, so December is my getaway where I always go to America. Yeah. So I always do a conference first, which is a political conference, and then on the 21st of December, I always pick a different state to go to. Okay. So this year I need to find somewhere else. I'm just deciding where I want to go, and then I spend Christmas there, and then I fly back just in time for New Year's Eve. Last year I did Arizona, and then which was where the conference was, and then I went to Nashville for Christmas. So I had
How was that experience?
So
have you got friends there?
So I've got some friends in America, and I've got family in America, and going to America last December was very interesting because I was detained by immigration.
Oh.
Yeah. So I knew something was up when I was at Heathrow, so I checked into the lounge, and when I gave over my boarding pass and all that lot, they went, "So, how are you flying today? Is it an ESTA or a visa?" I said, "ESTA." I've not been asked that before. Got on the plane, everything's fine. I land in Washington, D.C., because it's cheaper to fly from London to D.C. and then on to Arizona the next day. Mm-hmm. So I land in D.C. and hand over my passport, and he goes, "So, why are you here today, Mr. Bridger?" And explained. So I'm off to a conference, and then I'm going having my Christmas, and then I'm flying back. Do you know anyone here? Where are you going? Where are you staying? I thought, yep. So I answered all of those, and he's typing away on his computer, and I'm thinking, I've been to DC a few times now. It doesn't take this long to get through here. Something's up. Gets this box out. Passport goes in. Boom, locked. I was like, no. He hands it over to me. Go down there, and they'll escort you to where you need to go. They escort you down this hallway. You hand over this box to this officer, and he goes, "You've got to go sit down. You'll be called up when we call you up." They won't tell you what's going on, why you've been detained, and you're in this room, and it's just a load of chairs, no TV. You're not allowed your phone, so I can't even message anyone to say what's going on, and you just got to wait to be called up. So I'm sat there waiting an hour and a half, doing nothing. Get called up by this other immigration officer. Why are you here? Where are you going? Where are you staying? What conference are you attending? Why are you attending it? Wow. All these questions. So I answered them all. Luckily, I texted someone before I got on the plane saying, these are dates where I am and where I am in America, and this is when I fly back to London. So I showed him that, and he could see that I text someone. So I was like, well, that's great. So I had to send that to him, all my Airbnb documents about where I was staying. And he said, "Oh, so now we need to do a bag check. Where are your bags?" I'm like, "Well, hopefully on the conveyor belt, because you haven't let me go and get them. We'll go and get them for you, sir. Sit back down. We'll call you back up." About another hour and a half later, I'm called back up by someone else. "Here's your passport, sir. You're all good to go. We don't need to do a bag check." So I'm like, okay. One, where are my bags? No idea. You've got to go find them yourself. And then two, why have I been detained? It turned out Secret Service had put a red flag on me. So, and so had immigration. So last year, because I've been so many times to America, and I've been in July, but there was a DBS breach that affected all the colleges and things like that in Kent. So my passport number and my national insurance and all that lot got leaked. So I had to get a new passport. So I got a new resta.
Okay.
So when I then landed in America, they wanted to check, one, that I was who the person was on the passport, because obviously I had a new passport. So I was like, fair enough. And then because I was going to a conference, which is a Turning Point USA conference, and the vice president was attending, and it was also Charlie Kirk's conference, but he had been shot at that point. So Secret Service were like, why is a Brit coming to this conference when the vice president's attending? Can we just check that he is who he is?
Wow.
Yeah, but from another side, it's showing quite clearly that they are looking after. Because
so I was very glad that they did do it, because I was like, you've done your job. I have a lot of respect for the Border Force. Yes, okay, it took 3 hours out of my time, and when you've been away for 24 hours, you're shattered, and all you want to do is get back to the hotel. But
from another side, if it wasn't you, it was someone who actually had some bad intentions. So it was good that
I'm glad they did do it. And then I had half an hour trying to find my bags because I got sent to a different part of the airport, and then by the time I got there, they'd sent it to someone else. So luckily I found it.
Because of course then there are unattended bags as well, so there's another potential issue.
So luckily I did find it in the end, and then it was another hour and a half downtown to then get another train to the hotel, and then by that point I was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to go for dinner, I'm just going to go to sleep, because I was up at 6 the next morning for another flight to Arizona.
And the rest of the journey and experience
but the internal
was
flights was amazing.
Nice and easy after that.
I put my passport in, the guy went, got any guns or bombs on you today, sir? No. You're all good to go. Like, okay, that was quicker. I was like, brilliant. So, but yeah, internal flights were brilliant, and it's just the first landing bit wasn't great.
Is that literally what he asked?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
unbelievable.
and they did it at all of them. I was like, oh, this is actually a thing. They do ask if you've got guns.
And obviously over there they need to ask for all this, because I want to ask you: is there a belief that when you were a child, you wouldn't actually understand it too much, but now it's very much part of yourself and your mindset? Something that people maybe were talking a lot when you were young, and you were like, what the hell they mean with that?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think it's always been there. I think entrepreneurship's always been there. As a child, there was always that sort of trying to buy something, sell something. I set the business up very young at 16, and then before that I was also doing website design at 13. So there's always been that entrepreneurship from a young age, and then buying and selling sort of fruit and veg as well outside, and trying to sell different things and car boot sales.
We don't know about that. What is that about the fruits and veg?
Oh, bought a load of plums. Probably about 10.
From the farms? Or?
Yeah, from the farms. And then I was going around selling them in the doors and taking the cash.
Honestly, I love it.
So always trying to find a different way of, as a kid it was a bit wheeling dealing, to be honest.
But shall we say that this was something that you were doing, but you didn't understand that much back then, and nowadays you are with much more?
Yeah, I'm certainly a lot more now. I've certainly grown into it, and because you do obviously a lot more research and things like that. And I think for me, it's one of those you've got to be in it, and it will take time to learn and to find your footing. But it's like with anything, it takes time. But you just got to do it. It's like with public speaking. I used to hate doing that, and even networking as well. That for me before I was 16, no, thank you. I'm not doing that. Whereas now I love it. I run my own networking business as well with Lauren. And I'm be up on stage speaking about different things, and for me that's fine. Whereas before, I didn't like doing that.
But is it because with the experience, especially public speaking, I'd say, because recently we hear lots of people, they are really scared of it, afraid, and it's not their thing. But is it the experience to do it? And again, you push yourself to go and do it maybe a few times, and then you get comfortable. For me,
it took it took a journey. The more and more you do, that's where you then build up that ability to be able to do it. And for the first few were very scary, and I was always trying to find my words and was always looking down at my notes, whereas now I can look at the notes and talk as well. things like that, and or just wing it half the time.
The thing is, you've always got a good story behind the things that you're saying, and obviously your passion and your drive helps as well.
Big experience for 25 years, honestly.
Absolutely.
It will never. Oh, I can't. What is next? What's coming?
What's next? Got some ideas. Obviously, expanding the business, hopefully a bit more. Obviously, always looking for more clients, things like that. Got the mayoral role now, so going out doing the mayoral duties will
just
soon
to ask,
come.
This role, is it going to be just for a year?
Yeah, it'll be a year term. If they choose to re-elect me next year, then I'll be honoured.
How many times you can be re-elected?
They can keep re-electing me if they like.
There is no limit
no,
for that.
No.
Oh, okay.
So they can keep re-electing me.
That's different from like being a Lord Mayor. Because if a Lord Mayor is just 1 year, isn't it? Yeah.
Lord Mayor is for the town.
For
the town. Yeah. For a city. Yeah.
So it's down to the councillors whether they want me again for another year. I'd like to hope I've done enough, and I hope they'll back me.
Even without being a mayor, you're doing so much. Just imagine when you've got at least a little bit more untied hands than you can do. I'm pretty sure.
I do hope that they will give me a chance to have a full year. I mean, if I am re-elected, there's a lot of ideas that I'd like to put forward for council. You know, I'd like us to sign the Armed Forces Covenant, backing our armed forces. I want us to do more events. I put a proposal forward at our last full council meeting that was approved to do an outdoor cinema event for the community, where we're doing 2 cinema showings, and we're having stalls and things like that to come and show their wares, and independent traders that are in the area to be able to promote them, and it's free for the residents to come along. So I want to do more of that. I want to have a mayor's charity where I can fundraise throughout the year, and then give to 2 different charities at the end of the year and things like that.
And Matt, would you like to do? Obviously, you mentioned earlier a little bit about political career. Would you like to do that? Would you, if there was an opportunity in an election?
Don't share that thoughts now. We keep that.
If an opportunity arose, I'd be very honoured if I ever had the opportunity. I think it's one of the greatest jobs that you can ever have, especially to give back to the community and to be able to represent their views on a much higher scale. Do I want it right now? Probably no. I'm very happy where I am, and I'm in a very good place. If the opportunity arose and I was asked, then yeah, I'd have to say yes. It's a great opportunity to deliver for the people.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, for me, obviously busy with the business, busy with networking events. I've got my podcast now that I've launched, so it keeps me busy.
And what's that called? Just so everyone knows.
Pints with Bridger. And the reason it's called Pints with Bridger is because everyone goes, "Oh, you're always having a pint. You always got a pint when we see you," because I'm normally having a drink. So I thought, actually, I'm going to monetize that. But it's also got another meaning, because it's all about going down the pub and having a pint with your mate and having those conversations that you would have down the pub, and trying to show a different side to someone. And it's about bringing their barriers down and showing actually this person isn't how you may think they are. There's a completely different side to them. Why are they inspirational? What have they done throughout their life? And what I also do is I do a lot of research into the person, and I find the things that they probably don't realise that are out there. And I also find the things that they don't realise that I could find. So I had Matthew Scott, the Police and Crime Commissioner, recently. There's something in there about him that most people would have no idea about him. And he's never released a picture before, but I found it. And I went, "So what's this?" And you could see the look on his face go, "How have you found that?" And he goes, "How have you found that picture? Because that's not anywhere online." So yeah, I do find a lot out about
obviously
them.
Your secret services. Perfect. I don't know. We wish you all the best with everything.
Thank you.
We'll keep in touch. We'll see how the things are going. And I'm pretty sure you prove, as I said, I was very, very inspired by your story and being our guest. And for long, I'm on the hype. And Richard can say that.
Probably put my story in a book at some point as well.
I think
that's going to have to be the next thing on the list. I mean, I did start writing it, but it's one of those you sort of look at.
I think it will be, because it is fascinating from the start. That 13 years old doing many people.
It's one of those though where I tell my story to people, and people go, "Really?" And they don't believe it. Because I've done so much so quickly in such a short time.
We're not going to say about my stupid question last time about your age. Keep saying that to the people. I said,
someone thought I was in my late 30s last night. I was like, cheeky sod.
Here it is. I'm not the only one. But no, just because based on who you are,
experience and
what
the things
you
you've
do,
done.
I absolutely admire, and it's amazing. And if I must be honest, one of the best things for me is always that you do for people to give back. It's just incredible.
But I had it from, in fact, it's the podcast we filmed last time, and I put it out on my social media clips, and I had someone message me afterwards going, "That true what you've said? Like, really?" I had to send them a picture going, You don't realise I was with Boris? Here's a picture of me with Boris, and here's a picture of me in number 10. And they don't believe it because of being so young.
But do you know as well, I'll tell you something. When for first time we met, I even don't remember when it was or whatever. We've been in the same rooms quite a few times. You never, ever show with your attitude, talk, or even body language that you've been to places like that. You meet really you are just, how I would say, the normal person in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you haven't been here sitting, and we had that chat and podcast, I would never even have a clue about. What was the other thing that you are? How is the word for London?
I have freedom of the city.
Freedom City, yeah.
Richard is so excited about that as well. He shared with everybody. He's 25 and because these are little things, and you obviously they're not the things that you share all the time on your social media or whatever. And that's why I'm not surprised that people will react this way. And one of the reasons to have the podcast is to be able to find out these things with the people, because it's, as I said, it's pretty inspirational story, and I'm sure you need to write a book at some point about it.
Well, I say write a book, it's probably going to end up being about 10 books by the time I've written up to now. It will be hundreds of chapters. And
in case you don't have connections, we do have with people who help with writing a book, and
we do.
so we can help with that.
I have started writing a book, but it's not about my life. It's a fiction.
Okay.
But we'll see if that comes out at some point. I've got to finish
Expect everything from Matt and take the example.
That'll be another title on the list.
That'll be the MJB book. Well, we look forward to that.
Thank you.
Matthew, thank you for coming to see us again today and sharing a little bit more on your journey. And we wish you every success and continuation with what you're doing for the community.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And
it was a pleasure, absolutely.
So we hope you've really enjoyed.
Wait, don't finish.
Yes,
We've got a few presents here. I don't know if you met this guy, Dr. Rand.
No, I haven't.
But we would really recommend you, and we would love to put you in touch because he is an amazing guy. And this book he kindly gave us to be a gift for our guests. Very nice.
It's very easy reading. It's something you could, particularly when you're travelling on a plane, it's something and it just talks to you.
And something small as well. I'm independent ambassador for this British brand, and it's something for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate. And now it's time to finish.
Now it's time to say, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode. We've certainly enjoyed hearing Matthew's latest insights. Please do give us a like and do subscribe to the channel if you're watching and you haven't. And
if you want to help and support our project, please help us as buying us a coffee on the link below. It will be highly appreciated, and you will do a lot for us with that.
Let's try and get to 20,000 views this time, not 10.
Oh yes,
let's try and double
it. The bar is up. Perfect. Thank you.
Take care.